President Uhuru Kenyatta on Friday faced Mount Kenya. Addressing the leaders from the region, the president denied endorsing Raila Odinga for higher office through the handshake. He also dismissed claims of a fallout between him and his deputy William Ruto. The president steered clear of the VBA report, terming some of the touted details of the report as speculative and misleading, including a prime minister post allegedly meant for him. NTV's Melita Oletenges reports.
Central leaders, popularly known as Gema, today gathered at the Sagana State Lodge for a meeting with President Uhuru Kenyatta. The 4-hour closed-door meeting revolved around development issues and political groupings amidst a call for unity by the president.
Mount Kenya region is one house at Uhuru Kenyatta. It's a Jubilee house. It's a united house. We are all here. And the president, gave us a lot of further guidance. And we are very happy. And most importantly, our issues of coffee, tea, and milk. Those were our issues.
Some of the leaders chose to remain mum on the details of the meeting. However, expectations that President Uhuru Kenyatta would rally support for the BBI did not materialize. He steered clear of the report. But some of the leaders are still hopeful the BBI issue will be revisited.
He has promised that we can be able to look at the issues of BBI with an open mind. Because that's a problem really that some people have been peddling as if some things are fait accompli. We do hope that everyone will have their right, majority will have their way, and minority will have their say.
Those who have been saying that is about referendum, it's about prime minister, he has told them to shut up. Those who have been saying they are opposed to it, to shut up. Let us all wait, including himself. And I think that's a good position.
However, a section of the leaders were dissatisfied with today's meeting, saying no progress has been made from previous meetings.
So whatever we said here in 2016 is the same thing you have said today. You would assume there some people will come from Mars to solve the problems. I hope we will not be here in 2023 talking about the same things. So we want to see some action.
President Kenyatta will now embark on a tour of all central region counties, starting with Meru next week, to address issues raised by their leaders.
Despite a section of leaders terming issues discussed today as repetitive, it is clear that the president has told off leaders who are politicking to focus on development and not to sleep on the job. Melita Oletenges, NTV at the Sagana State Lodge, Nyeri County.
All right, thanks, Melita. And of course, that was a report that was filed by Melita Oletenges on Friday when President Uhuru Kenyatta was appealing to his Mount Kenya political base, to shun what he says was sustained politicking that is targeting his administration. And of course, on the panel this morning, we have Mark Bichachi, communication strategist, as well as Gabriel Muduma, who's a policy and governance expert. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming in. Of course, definitely you've seen that the president was meeting the Mount Kenya leaders on Friday, and of course quite strong sentiments that came out there. I'd just like to first of all, I'll start with you, Gabriel. What do you take from that? I mean, so the president met the leaders, sort of, to some people say, to test the waters on the deputy president's influence in the region.
Well, Zainab, that could have been it, but honestly, I don't think that was it. But many people have actually suggested towards, the inclination that you're heading to.
Right.
But for me, what came out very clearly is that, first of all, he allayed the fears on matters BBI, but also quite more important, what I wanted to hear, he actually spoke about the concern that he had in the area, in matters development.
Right.
At least coffee, tea, and agriculture, and other, whether it was poultry, I think at least it was mentioned. And not only mentioning, I think they went a little bit far from what happened in 2016, or as I hope. But there's also something else that we need to talk about when you're talking about the Sagana 2. All right? Away from the 2016, the Sagana 2 now, at least you have people and area members and people who are actually in Sagana. Those that were present, they were actually able to get a one-on-one, if I would say, thrashing from the president. I mean, you look at the Minister for Agriculture now, he comes from that area where they are facing all these issues. You have members who are there who come from the mountainous region, who are in committees, very heavy committees in parliament, that should be discussing the issues that are facing people from Mount Kenya. And if you heard them really, what really mattered for them was coffee and tea. Those have actually been two products that have been struggling for Mount Kenya. Coming out politically, I think it was, it could have been testing the waters, but then again, he steered clear from BBI, saying what we've always maintained on this show. I mean, this is a great document that we've been told about. You cannot hit out on it without knowing its content. You cannot overrush it without also knowing its content. What is the problem of waiting for this document for everybody to see? And he promised, he says, when it comes out, we will bring it to the people. You will look at it democratically. And then, if we disagree, we do it honorably. What is wrong with that?
We'll come to the VBA report, Gabriel. Mark Pichachi, some would argue that this was sort of like a PR kind of a stunt by the president. Do you agree?
Every move by a sitting president is a PR statement. Anything he does publicly is a PR statement. Let's just be very clear on that. Number two, this was much more than a PR statement, and I'll tell you why. If truly there was dissent against Uhuru Kenyatta, tell me which MP did not show up. Secondly, tell me which leader did not show up. Thirdly, Martha Karua is well known to have walked out on a sitting president. Who walked out? Right? So that should tell you that if there's a statement to be made, is that Uhuru Kenyatta still commands a lot of respect, and these leaders cannot stand against him. And the reason they cannot is they don't have a foot to stand on. Because you have to be hard-pressed to find something that Uhuru Kenyatta has not corrected in his second term. If you're talking about fiscal policy, Ekuru Yatani is changing that. If you talk about the fight against corruption, there's been more people arrested, more money restored in this country than ever in our history. If you talk about development, you go around the country, you're seeing roads and different projects going on. So definitely in his second term, those people who are opposing Uhuru Kenyatta have to find fringe things, to accuse him of. But the truth is, the guy has actually worked very hard to restore the country back to order. And the only reason where there's a divergence of opinion is what he addressed, in that a lot of people, their eyes are focused on 2022. And once you switch on the 2022 bulb, then you keep wondering whether BBI is an endorsement of Raila Odinga, and the president has said it is not, and you keep wondering whether the president will support William Ruto or not, which is a question that is of no consequence. Because at the end of the day, Uhuru Kenyatta has one vote, exactly like me, one. He does not have 2 or 3 to give. So the truth is, if you look at the Sagana meeting, it actually did a lot in terms of, look at it, who dares go against the president now? They are trying, but how many of them were in church on Sunday doing politics? Right? Because the ask from the president was quite heavy, and it's an ask from the Kenyan people as well. Can you get some work done? Can Parliament, for example, pass some bills around the fight against corruption, make it more dangerous to do corrupt activities? Can Parliament, for example, create rules for how long someone who's suspected of doing corruption can be held? Can Parliament pass a law that says, listen, if you're a governor and you're mentioned in a criminal case, could you please step away instead of causing us to have traffic jams like Sonko has done, or threatening to demolish EACC? That's what Parliament should be doing, instead of going around this country telling us about 2022 as though it's the only thing we can think about.
But you must agree that there's still dissenting voices within the Jubilee Party itself, even with some MPs coming out right after the meeting and saying this meeting has left the Mount Kenya region divided than before.
True. Let me tell you, why did they say it there? They'll say we were not allowed in the program. Since when have MPs been orderly? They shout all the time. Let me tell you something. If you want to know a coward, they say, Gabriel Sikitu. I work to Gabriel Nafai. Then when Gabriel shows up, they go
keep
quiet. That's what I mean. It's not that they won't try. They definitely will try, because they have their own agendas. But can they do it to his face? Can they do what Martha Karua did, get up and walk away? Can they? That's